Hello, guys. Welcome to episode 33 of the Peer-to-Peer Network. Today, we are going to be working on um, when we are distributing events from a node to the clients connected to the node. As of today, we are distributing it to every single connection there. But we should distribute it only to the guys that uh, are following the social entity that produced those events. Okay, so we are going to be fixing that. Okay, so let's switch to the code view and let's frame the problem again. Okay, so let's go to the network here and let's check this out. We will need from here probably social trading, but let's work with the WebSocket interface. There is a place here, broadcast to clients. Okay, this is executed every time an event is received and applied to the social graph. We need to broadcast the event to all the clients connected at this network node, right? All right, so we also have a broadcast to peers function. And the situation today is that this broadcast to clients iterates all the network clients and except the one that is the one sending the event, it sends the event to everybody else. And this is exactly the problem. We want the event to be sent only to the network clients who have associated with them social personas or social trading bots that are following this social entity emitting an event. It means that if I am with my social persona once sending an event, I need the event to go only to the through the connections where there are social entities follow at least one social entity following me. Okay, so remember that a connection to the node is done by an application, and behind that application there is a user profile, and behind that user profile there are social entities. Okay, so this is the relationship: application, user profile, social entities. So if any of the social entities related to that profile, related to that application, is following me, then we are going to let the event go through that connection so that at the client side, the application will know what to do. if they do something at all. Okay, so that is what we are going to filter, and for that we already created a module that was going to filter this, but we couldn't complete this because there were some other missing parts. So let's load into let's load into our own memory what is going on here. Okay, so my understanding is that we were going to check the broadcast. We are not going to do it from here, because what is happening here? We are sending this event to the client interface, right? And we are responding to the caller. Okay, so here is the change. We are calculating a broadcast to RI of, I don't know exactly what is this because I don't remember, so that the broadcast to client is done inside the WebSocket interface, but only to the entities present at this array. So this would be network clients. Okay, so we iterate these network clients, and the network client will have inside the socket that this is going to use to actually send the stuff. Okay, now I'm remembering this. So the network client is essentially an array that is built or this broadcast to is an array that is built inside this function. We are sending here network clients, which are all the connections that we have. Let's check a little bit what we have here to be 100% clear. Okay, network client, we are adding the object caller. Okay, so it's an array of object caller that is also, I want to know what information I have. So I have the socket, the user profile. Okay, so I don't care about the application. So this relationship that I described, that is application, user profile, social entities, I don't care about the application itself. It doesn't matter, because behind the application there is a user profile, and that user profile has many social entities, and we as a network node cannot know what the guy is having at the screen at this moment, because he might be switching between one social persona or one social trading bot or another, but we're just going to send whatever message is related to any of those, and that is how we're going to solve the problem. Okay, now I have this more clear. So what we're going to do is go into the client interface. The client interface is a module of the social graph service, network service. So let's get this guy. Client interface. Okay, so when we receive an event here and we run it, we create the broadcast to array by sending the connected user profiles. What is this? Okay, so here in the context of a social graph service, what we are receiving, this is ignoring that there is a socket and whatever, we don't care. For us, it's an array of connected user profiles. And from there, we will have a user profile. So we have this module that is an utility that is a broadcasting filter. Okay, so essentially what we are going to do here is let's describe what we're going to do first. We're going to iterate this for each profile. We need a list or an array of social personas and social trading bots belonging to that user profile. Okay, and then for each then then we check for each social entity if it follows the social entity producing this event. Okay, so we will need to know, we have the profiles that are connected, good. We will need to know which is the social entity associated with this event. Okay, and we most likely have it here. Event received, social entity ID, User profile by social entity. So it seems that what we have is a social entity ID at this point in time. But with that, we can get the social entity, but we can do it inside this module. So where are we? Social entity ID. So if we look into this, here we should have social personas by ID, social bots by ID. So I guess that I'm going to do it inside here, not outside. Social entity. The social entity is going to be okay. So with this, we will get a social entity when it is a social persona. And with this, when it's a social trading bot. Okay. So then we're going to send this social entity into here. But we're also going to check that the social entity exists. Even before here, we will check the social entity exists. Get the user profile that has those social entities. Okay. So if social entity ID is undefined, So we make sure that if any problem, we get out of here quickly, or as quickly as possible. Okay, so now here we are 100% certain that this has a social entity. So we can get into here with a social entity. Okay, so let's start coding this. For each connected user profile, we need an array of whatever. So first thing we're going to do is iterate this. Okay, then let user profile going to be equal to this. Okay, so let social personas. So this is a user profile node, right? So what we're going to get here are social persona nodes. And to do that, we're going to use an utility function that we can have. We can find an example of here, node branch to array. Very useful utility function that transform a branch of nodes into an array. So here we want to do this. Okay, I will shut this down. Okay, so So this is a structure. What we want are this node, social persona. Okay, so that would be put here, social persona. We don't want this to crawl the whole structure with 1,000 nodes, so we're going to pass this user profile dot social personas. Okay, and a similar thing is going to happen for social trading bots. So here we're going to put social trading bot, and we're going to pass user bots so that it crawls only this branch. Okay, user bots. Good. Now we have two arrays here. So I'm going to create a function that is going to be find who is following and I'm going to pass them an social entities. Okay, so we're going to execute this passing social persona and then passing social trading bots. Amazing. So now that we have this, we're going to iterate this array for okay. Okay, Okay, so we have the social entity, and the next thing we are going to do is see if this social entity is following. Hmm, we shouldn't call it social entity here. We're going to call it origin, because origin means the one who is originating the event. Okay, so this origin social entity is indeed one of these two objects. Is either a social persona or social trading bot object. They both have an ID that was taken from the node ID. You also have the node. Okay. Um, and they both have um, a following and followers map. Okay. So we need to know if the social entity is on the followers map of this guy. So it's very easy. If it is, we add it to the array. Okay. So we are very close. We will create here the empty array. This is going to be this. It's an empty array of who we are going to broadcast to filter followers from user profile. Okay. I'm going to call it the same so as it's for consistency. Even if this context, this is not probably the best name, but so what we need to do is we have the origin social entity, and we are going to do like this. Uh, get, and we are going to use this node ID. So we will get a follower social entity. Okay, but we just need to know if this exists or not, if it is undefined or not. Or let's say if it is not undefined, then we will push to this array the problem here is that we need here also so this is an array of color. Okay, But I don't really want to call it color because color is on the context of the um, connected. Say we will call it like this. So we are receiving an array of connected entities, and each connected entity has a user profile, more or less like this. Then we are going to broadcast to these connected entities. Okay, if this is not undefined, okay, the next problem is how do we avoid adding more than one broadcast to if there is more than one entity following this guy. My guess is that we're going to create a function. Now here we can do a continue. Okay, we're going to return true here. So let at least one found. Okay, so we're going to do this trick to avoid adding more than one guy. Probably this line is not needed. So the thing is like this. We receive connected entities, okay? That is an array of color at the WebSocket interface. And we receive the origin social entity, that is the entity that is emitting the event, okay? So we start with an empty array and we are going to loop. So for each connected entity, we get the user profile related to it. And from that user profile branch of nodes, we're going to get the social persona, social trading bots. I think this is an expensive operation. Maybe there is a way to improve it in the future. But at this point in time, it's good enough. So at least one found is a Boolean variable that we're going to send the social personas. There are social entities, iterate over them and try to find a follower at their own map of followers based on the social entity that is producing the event. If they are a follower, so it's not undefined, then we're going to also broadcast to these guys, return true, and if we return true, we move on to the next connected entity and we don't do it again. And in this case, we don't need this guy because it doesn't matter if it returns true or not. Because there's nothing else to do. That means that we can do like this. Okay, and that's it. That's how we filter. That's how we filter who we are going to broadcast to and who we are not. Okay, so this is at the client interface. What happens at the peer interface? When we receive an event from another peer, we do all this. Okay, so we're going to do a similar trick. But by the way, we don't have the event finalized here. Okay, the problem is that we don't have the social entity here. Why not? It looks like we need to do this same trick. At the peer interface, remember that the event was received by or from another network peer. So we cannot do a validation to check it against the user profile that is connected. But still, the peer interface, events are received from another node, network node. We check, we get the social entity in this case to know who is following it. Okay, that's the reason we get it. So we run these validations. We will have to do it after this happens. Okay, and then we will have the social entity that is going to come into here, and we are going to add this broadcast to response, and then we will get this into this variable, and then if there is a broadcast array that is not undefined and that its length is greater than 0, okay, here is a problem because this broadcast to is to clients. We need to broadcast to peers anyway. Or the condition to broadcast to peers now is different than to clients. But let me check this, because how do we know that we need to broadcast to peers if it is a query? I mean, I don't want to broadcast queries. So we are going to put an and. No, but I didn't want to do this. Okay, so if broadcast to peers, because I don't want the concept of event, that is something related to the social graph, to live here at the network. So I'm going to make a clarification at the comment. We need the so probably how it was okay. Because it doesn't matter if it enters into broadcast to client and the length is 0, it's not going to go anywhere. So maybe I need that the response is okay and this is not undefined, and then I run it through both. Okay, so that should work. Okay, so I guess we are ready to test this theory. I guess we are ready to test. So the way to test this is to run this network node. Okay, took some time. And we're going to run this desktop. Okay, so all the posts are here, and we have social persona 1 following social persona 2. Good. So first we're going to write a post again from social persona 1 that is going to say just fourth post test here. So we post this and we are here. Broadcast filter. Connected entities, we have only one. Origin social entity is social persona 1. So then we have connected entities 1, connected entity user profile Okay, so this is not social personas. We have an array of 2, and social trading bots, we have an array of 2. Very good. So find who is following. We enter here. So here we have 2 social entities. Okay, the first problem is that this social entity is the same than myself. But it doesn't really matter that much. So the ID is ED1. ED1. So I should filter this out. But anyway, I'm not going to find in the followers list nobody. So is the follower? No. The social 2. Is he the follower? No. So that means that at least one found. No. So we come here again. There are 2 bots. Social trading bot. Number 1. Is he the follower? No. Social bot number 2. Follower not. Okay, I forgot to return the broadcast 2 at the end of the loop. Return this guy. And here we are going to add a condition. If this guy ID is the same of the origin ID, we don't need to look up the follower. Okay, so now this is going to be undefined. Okay, who knows what happened then. Okay, for sure it didn't get into this because this was undefined. Good. Okay, so let's stop this and stop the desktop. And we are going to do the following trick. We're going to find the environment file and we are going to set up that the default social persona is going to be the number 2. And now we are going to run impersonating number 2. Okay, so let's run this. Let's run this. Look, now um, we are number 2. Okay, so number 2 in the timeline has that number 1 follow number 2, and it's okay because I am number 2, so this is an event that I am involved in. Then number 1 unfollow me, then number 1 follow me again, but I have no post. Okay. Also, I am not following anybody, so I can follow number 1. That's great. I will follow number 1. Probably that is going to make this stop. So let's check this out. So I'm following number 1. That's my event. Okay. But see what happens. If I have connected entity, there's only one. The user profile is mine. We got 2 social persona, 2 trading bots. Let's check the first. The first is social persona 1. Is it the same that the one that is running here? No. Is it a follower also of social persona 2? Yes, it should be. Yes, it is a follower. Then, because it is a follower, I will add it to the broadcast and return true. I don't need to check anything more. At least one was found. Yes. So we continue with the next connected entity. There are no more. So we respond and we have an array with 1. So then we are going to enter here. That means that this event is going to be broadcasted to peers. Okay, because the array is not undefined, because it was an event. Then we are going to enter into broadcast to client function. The caller to avoid is this guy, because it's ourself. This is interesting because probably we don't need to avoid this guy, because if it isn't on the list of the broadcast, if it is in the list of broadcast 2, by the way, I'm going to call it like that, then it's because some other social entity beyond the one that is the one sending the event is following that entity. So this is not good here, because now it's going to make this not to send the stuff actually. Yes, it's going to avoid sending it because it's over the same connection. Okay, and then it will return but without the broadcasting. Okay, so lesson learned. We need to. We don't need to do this. We don't care about. We have already taken care of filtering this properly, so this concept doesn't apply. And also, I want to standardize and call this broadcast 2. So that is 100% clear that we are talking about the same array that was created somewhere, filtering who we need to notify this. Okay, so we'll run this again. We'll run this again. So one thing that we will have to deal with is check out what happens with the incoming messages from the peer-to-peer network at client apps. That is kind of a mystery even to me. Okay, so let's run this again. Not here, but here. Okay, now we don't have in the list because we already follow. So here we're going to do, and we have to do my first post. And we will debug this again. My first post. Hello. So what's going on here? Okay, cannot say because available storage. Okay, there was no available storage. Uh, okay, so okay, so available storage means that at my social persona 2, at the user storage, my social trading data, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a copy of this so these have the same available storage. Okay, and I'm going to save my profile. So when I see at my user, okay, I'm checking this to see if there is a difference where we write the post if I point many social entities, but no, they are all going to be at the same place. Kind of mixed up, but who cares? Everything is encrypted here. Okay, so now that we have this, oops, I didn't need to stop this guy, but whatever. So we stop this guy. Now there will be an available storage for that. Truly my first post. So broadcast 2. So we found one. that is following this guy, persona 2. So we continue and we go into here, broadcast to peers, broadcast to clients. We don't need this color either. So here we will have one guy and we will just send a message and mission accomplished. Okay, so um, from here the next logical thing to watch is what happened with the notification when it comes to client side. Okay, so this is what we're going to do at our next episode. Follow what happens when this message arrives at an application of an event that came from the network. Okay, so this is where we are. So to recap, we have we have finished the filtering of who needs to be notified. Now this notification every time an event happens is not going to go to everyone, but only to the through the connections where there are social entities following the guy that produced the event. That's what we did. At the next episode, we will track what happens with this event when it arrives to the client side and what's going on there. Okay, so this is all for now. Thank you for watching. See you at the next one.